guys, you're here with Lee, and welcome back. We're live again with Oracle Online. I know I've been away from the video for a little while. I've actually been away from training. I've taken the last about 4 weeks off ever since that last tire training. If you watched the video, I did one extra tire suplex, which my back of my mind was telling me don't do it, not that one extra one, but I did it anyways, always thinking, well, aren't you supposed to push yourself? But it's not always true. And in my case, especially at my age, I think that was a bad move. So I didn't really throw out my back or anything like that, but definitely I was sore for the next little while. But regardless, I ended up taking some time off because I really wanted to anyways. So welcome back. Really excited. I hope you are too with the changing of seasons. It's officially spring now here, 1 year into COVID. It's been a crazy year. So I don't know if you're like anybody else that's normal, that you're really enjoying getting out now and getting some fresh air. Getting out, seeing people, being with people. Here in Toronto, our patios, we're in gray zone. It's March 27th as of this recording. Toronto is officially in the gray zone, which basically means we can, retail stores can open up, certain ones, not all of them. You can have certain numbers of people in them. You can have patios, outdoor patios open with, again, a certain arrangement and quantity of people. It's not fully open. Academies, for example, gyms are not open yet. So, on the positive side, things are looking better. We're obviously in full steam ahead with the vaccinations. For those that are willing to do the vaccinations, we've started that in the province of Ontario, throughout Canada. So, it's happening. We're officially, I think, at age 65 right now. So for at least myself, I'm anticipating about June, perhaps July, where I can get my shot. So until that time, I am going to be doing a lot of my outdoor activities. I may or may not start back up on the beach with Zenon. We'll see how that goes. We obviously still want to play it safe with the variant strains that are going around, so we got to be careful of that. Today's video, I'm trying at a new location. Pretty excited about it. It's something that I've been around for a while, living in the West End, and today I drove around and thought of this spot and decided to, heck, let's shoot it over here. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm excited for today's video, guys. So it's a little bit different. I'm going to go over a lot of the core basic tire training and tire max training items that you've seen in other videos. But in this one, I'm going to be introducing something that I've kind of been having in the back of my head. It's not fully fleshed out yet. You'll see me sort of just experimenting with it today in the latter half of the video. But it's pretty fun. Essentially what it's going to be is there's going to be a bit of almost like training rolling with those tires. Now, if you've seen or been part of any of my online instructionals, you'll see that I've worked with dummies and MMA dummies and staffs, like wooden staffs, which are very effective. But none of them each one of them has their own positives, but they also have their negatives, and none of them obviously can encompass everything the way an actual combatant opponent can. The tires, on the other hand, fulfills this other portion of it, which is, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the dummy is good, but it's very floppy, right? It just flops all over the place. The tire is great because it's very stiff, obviously, and you can sort of grip it, handle it in certain things, such as the De La Riva is very good for. The tire, on the other hand, is interesting because it gives you that rigidity that you're looking for, and it's giving you enough sort of in the shape of the circle, gives me a certain amount of accessibility, if you will, as you'll see later on. At least in my ground game, I'm going to be using it to do some maneuvers for on the ground. So I won't go any further in it, but you will see it a little bit later on what I am talking about. So so let's jump in, guys. Obviously, I'm right into the warm-ups. I will be checking in on and off as the video progresses.
More carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett?
Vegetables. Vegetables.
Here I come from the west side. The left side. The right brain drives me insane.
So guys, for this next part, I want you to pay particular attention to being safe, because the tire is going to be above your head if you're going to do this. Obviously these tires can be a little bit heavy, and you do not want them to fall on your head, on your face and whatnot, or on your chest. So just be a little bit careful. It's actually, for me, I find not as bad as it looks. It looks like it's, can fall on your, and it can fall on your face, but I think for the most part, your legs are quite adept at securing the tire. And so just pay attention to that. And that brings me to the point of what we're actually trying to do, in fact, is actually trying to increase the sensitivity of our legs. One of the things you'll notice with jiu-jitsu is that quite honestly, you're gonna have to develop what do you call it? A feel for your extremities to be able to act and behave in the manner that you want to in the situation that you find yourself in. What that means is basically that, obviously you have decent control of your hands because you use them every day, but how do you feel about using your feet every day? If you're a soccer player, you can probably relate to this because you have superior foot control, for example, with ball movement. But what if you want to, pick up things, push things, pull things with your feet, support, another human being on your legs? Those are typical things those are things that are typically most people are not used to. They don't do those things on a day-to-day basis, so we're not used to that thing. But in jiu-jitsu, you're going to have to do a lot of that. So it quite honestly takes a long time, upwards of years, to get comfortable with them. And some people don't even master in their entire career because it's just something that's really awkward and technique-wise something that you may not quite often go to because, again, it's not your sort of your primary modes of attack and defense. You usually typically use your hands because you're comfortable with them. But having said that, if you're good with your legs and you're good with your feet, well, it's quite amazing because you're literally opening up another 50% of weapons arsenal for you. If you see some of the best guys out there, they can use their legs and their feet in ways that kind of looks like humanly impossible. They can actually invert and control you and do things with their legs that just seem really, really strange. And pretty cool, quite honestly, at least for me. And I wish I had sort of higher training in this regard. But this is what this video is all about. It's us getting to know our legs better and using them more so that we develop that sensitivity. So let's roll the tape, and you'll see in the first one here, I did a front roll, as you would say, starting from someone's back take and doing a front roll to have them basically on the ground with you still on their back take. At this point, I'm really just doing free form movement. I haven't got any set patterns just yet. As I do these, I'm going to probably get more of a routine built up. Here you can see I'm just playing around with the tire. Quite honestly, like those Chinese acrobats. They have, actually, that's a good point. If you ever notice those acrobats, they can do phenomenal things with their legs. So that doesn't come overnight. It's not like you can suddenly start, keeping people up on your feet and flipping them in circles or balancing a group of people on your feet. That takes, years of practice, muscle buildup, muscle memory, and very importantly, sensitivity. So that's all I'm trying to do here is to get a feel for what is it that I want to do with these tires and with my feet. So the first one, as I mentioned, you saw, I did a front roll to a back take, which I thought was quite handy. Here I'm kind of trying a butterfly sweep. It felt a little awkward, if I'm being honest, but nonetheless, it was definitely good for those muscles involved for the butterfly sweep. Here what you're seeing is essentially a De La Hiva to back take. If you look at my left foot, it's just on the inside of the rim of the tire. My right foot is just catching the bottom of the tire, hooking it so that I can do a sort of like a flip. I found this particular set of moves quite interesting, quite helpful. I can see this definitely being a part of the routine in future episodes because it was quite natural and I felt safe the entire time. The tire it just moved beautifully according to my actions. Now, mind you, I've been doing a lot of DLR training in my classes lately, so I don't know if that's been helping, but this definitely did feel very good. And you can kind of see it too. I'm not fumbling with the tires. It's not too crazy. I have, for the most part, good control of the tires. Except right there, of course. And for the beginners, an interesting point that I should mention is that, using your center of gravity technique, you can conserve a lot of energy. When you're loading up people onto your limbs, if you're exerting a lot of force, you're probably doing something wrong. You're consuming a lot of energy, which really you shouldn't be doing in jiu-jitsu, and in a lot of martial arts. You're always trying to conserve your energy. You're always trying to get your maximum impact for your minimum effort. What I was showing back there was really just having the tires resting on my knees. My legs were up, my knees were up, but all I was doing was resting the tires on my knees, and the force of the tires were being transferred directly through my femur and into my hips and into the floorboards. So for me, it was effortless. It's a small point, but it's a very important point because it's something that you want to get used to if you're rolling and you've got a 220 pound opponent on you, or whatever the relative weight distribution is. If you're a smaller person and you still have someone relatively speaking heavier than you, it's something that you have to contend with. And knowing how to distribute that weight properly across the right joints on your body, in this case on your legs, can make all the difference. Now here you're seeing me trying a back roll. So where you could see this being applicable is, I'm not sure if there's an actual jiu-jitsu name for this, but essentially if I've got you in my guard with butterfly hooks, it's conceivable that I could rock you backwards right over me, and to complete this you would effectively take mount. But in my scenario, I'm not going for a complete 180. I'm stopping at about 160 degrees so I can reset. I think there's one scene where you're going to see me right there going fully over for the 180 for the back take, but I'm not going to be repeating those. Here you can see I'm just reversing it and going forward, continuing with the back take, never releasing my hooks. Here I'm just tossing the tires up to get comfortable with using the full force of my legs in vertical motion to see what sort of forces I can generate. All at the same, making sure that I can actually stick the landing so that the tire still lands in my control. There you saw it actually fell down. I didn't get hurt or anything like that, but you're ideally looking to capture the tire on its way back down. If the tire is representing your opponent, you may in fact be doing any one number of moves where you are potentially, taking your opponent as you pull guard and tossing their torso up to land into, for example, an armbar, which is one common technique that looks very similar to this. So guys, that wraps it up for another episode of Oracle Life. I hope you are having a great day and a great workout. If you're using the tires, let me know how they're going, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.